The GEEK Files. This is 2025, December 12th, Vancouver, BC. The DHC for caribou, Havelockina caribou. You can get a lot of these facts on Google. It's a high gull wing aircraft. 8 by 8 by 30-foot hole. You need to check that, but I know we could get two Chevy S10s comfortably inside this thing. Pair of Pratt & Whitney R2000 Wasp engines. And the one that I worked on had a system where you could reverse the props, which is very unusual for a piston engine aircraft. The huge flaps on this thing. This thing, like, you could almost double the wing chord by when you drop the flaps. I actually saw caribou land in a 10 knot headwind and roll out in maybe 100 feet. You could really get this thing down. Don't know whether it was ever built specifically for the military. They saw a lot of use in Vietnam. You could rig them up for lapse runs, low altitude parachute extractions. A lot of Agent Orange was sprayed with these things. The engine cowlings were titanium, which made them insanely hard to maintain because they would crack and they had all these compound curves. The engine exhaust was ducted over the wing in these titanium tubes, which reduced the titanium cowlings inducting the exhaust reduced the heat and noise signature. So these things were extremely quiet. It was really hard to locate where these things were coming from. Max Ward of Ward Air bought three of them: VYX, CG VYX, VYY, VYZ. In '87, when I joined the Caribou crew, VYY was in Gimli, Manitoba, and they're supposedly getting Pratt & Whitney PT6s fitted to it. I don't know whether it ever happened or it was just a pipe dream. That's an expensive conversion, especially for that time. VYZ was tied up in a legal battle. I need to find out this guy's name because he was a real piece of work that owned this aircraft. Traded the aircraft for shares in the Plata silver mine and was using it to haul galena from Plata out to wherever. And that's how they made their money. But it wasn't flying at the time. VYZ is the one that I did the whole jaunt across Canada on. So I was on VYX. The Pratt & Whitney R2000 engine on the Caribou was the same as on the DC-4. When I was with Comair on their DC-4, we could only get about 300 hours out of an engine. I'm not sure why that was. It was harsh conditions. We're talking the Arctic on unimproved strips, cold starts, just like brutal conditions. So we were doing an engine change every basically week because it's a 1,200 hour, really short time, 1,200 hour overhaul time on that engine at that particular those years. So yeah, so every week we got it down. So an engine prop, so we had a spare engine, spare prop, spare oil coolers, spare oil tank. We could crank out an engine change in a 12-hour shift. So yeah, off I go from Thompson, Manitoba to Calgary, Alberta. And then wound up in Midway Lake Emergency Airstrip on the Dempster Highway west of Fort McPherson, between Eagle Plains and Fort McPherson. I've tried to find this airstrip and I really can't. And where I met Dean Wilson, the captain, Greg Venus, the co-pilot, and Dale was the original with the mechanic that I was replacing. Anyway,